evening, everybody. Meteorologist Mike Joyce live once again. Well, if you were joining us earlier this evening, we were certainly hoping that our tornado threat has ended, but we now know that that is not the case, and as suspected, the storm that was in eastern Licking County has now moved into Muskingum County, and a tornado warning is now in effect. So let's dive into that right now. Again, I appreciate you guys tuning back in with me once again here. Just checking to make sure the stream is running. I do believe it is, and it looks like we are off and running. Very good. Okay, great. Let's dive right into this storm right now to see what exactly is going on. And this is a tricky situation again, because we are in a part of the state that does not have very good radar coverage. So this tornado warning for northern Muskingum County is going to be in effect until midnight. So we'll stick with you until then, unless it gets canceled early, which it may, but this storm does have a healthy history of producing funnel clouds and tornadoes in rotation. So I believe it's gonna stay with that for quite some time. So right now, what we're looking at is the reflectivity, or basically the rate of precipitation falling. So we do have a lot of heavy precipitation here in northern Muskingum County, inside this red polygon here. So that's going to be right along State Route 60. We also have State Route 666 right here in central Muskingum County, so a pretty famous road there. State Route 93, Adamsville, you are technically out of the polygon, but if you're in Adamsville, I would be in your safe spot right now. Zanesville, you're in the clear. So if you are in Zanesville, you are in the clear. It's Dresden, Adamsville, and all the rural areas between State Route 93, State Route 666, and State Route 60 that are in this very small tornado warning. So this is not a very large area at all. And I do want to, I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about a lot of other places, but the only place that is under a tornado warning right now, is northern Muskingum County. So if you are anywhere else, you are not under the threat for severe weather right now. Why don't we zoom out a little bit just to show the big picture? This is the only storm with a tornado warning on it, or any type of severe weather warning. We have no other severe thunderstorm warnings. We do have some flash flood warnings left over from earlier storms in Union, northern Delaware, southern Morrow, southern Knox County, and a pretty decent downpour that's about to come through Licking County, which was just affected by the last tornado warning just an hour ago. So why don't we dive right into the Columbus radar? That's probably going to give us our best look at this storm. And again, it's not a great look, because we are getting a bit distant from the Columbus radar in Pataskala, but we are seeing some areas of rotation, and here we go. Good news, it looks like the tornado warning has already been canceled. But let's stick with it for a little bit just to make sure. Yes, the tornado warning has been canceled early. Way early. It was originally scheduled to go until midnight, and just as of 20 seconds ago, you saw that red polygon pop off of your screen, and the tornado warning has been canceled. So great news, but it also just shows the volatile nature of this storm, in that it's had such a history of producing rotation, that I want to say right now, even though the tornado warning is no longer in effect, if you are in northern Muskingum County, I would sit tight. Just because we don't have great radar coverage in this area, and because of that, it's going to be really hard to see if anything spins up without someone seeing it. And of course, being almost midnight, it's dark out and it's hard to see. So I would really, really, really want to keep an eye on this one. The folks out of Pittsburgh, the National Weather Service office in Pittsburgh, have been monitoring this very closely. We can even loop the radar here just to see where they were concerned. And yeah, right here in northern Muskingum County, some concern there. So let's do another big picture situation here. Let's see. Big picture. There is one little area that I'm starting to see here. It's this storm back in Licking County again, almost one of the same spots we had it earlier, where there is some minor rotation showing up on the Columbus Doppler radar. And again, it doesn't look that impressive on radar, but it's been that kind of night. It does seem that there is some weak rotation south of Hanover, south of State Route 16, north of 70, so that's going to be right here. The tornado warning that we just had and has since been canceled is this area right here south of Dresden along State Route 60, State Route 666 there. So we're going to stick with it a couple more scans. We're going to watch this one back here in Licking County too, just to see if anything happens. And then we'll probably pop off here, and then we'll return if we have to. But it's been one of those kinds of nights where we've just had a lot of little storms that have been really trying to spin, and they've been doing a pretty dang good job at spinning, unfortunately for us. So there was a tornado warning. Let's see what the National Weather Service. Okay, we have a new update. Tornado warning has been canceled. The storm which prompted the warning has weakened below severe limits and no longer appears capable of producing a tornado. Therefore, the warning has been canceled. All right. So again, I do want to stick with it a couple more minutes, just because we are on, and it's been one of those nights where the risk is low. We had that 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather today, and it lived up to it. Really, not the amount of people in our coverage area affected. Not a lot of people, but it doesn't really matter. The number of people, if any of our communities are affected by this, we really want to be on top of it, because everyone matters. So right now, really, it's been Central Ohio dealing with this evening. Yesterday, when we were looking at some of the ingredients, my hunch was that the tornado threat would be greater along Route 30, but it ended up being just a wee bit south of that. More like US 36 corridor is where things really have been tonight. But it's the nature of early June. Early June is a tricky time of year for us. It's late spring, technically, early summer. We're still in that tornado season. We're starting to get out of tornado season and more so into straight line wind and hail season with our severe weather that we get over the summer. The reason why that is because in the springtime, usually the jet stream, which is a very fast river of upper atmosphere air that's moving very fast, likes to situate itself overhead more in the spring. But in the summer, it gets pushed up north of us, closer to the poles, like closer to the North Pole, the Arctic Circle, over the summer, and it gets pushed away from us. So that jet stream likes to help create some spin in the atmosphere. So in the summer, we get more thunderstorms that are driven by the heat and humidity of the day rather than the jet stream. But in June, you're still getting some of those late spring dynamics, and that's why I was when we saw yesterday what today could look like, we thought, this could be one of those nights where we get some spin ups, and lo and behold, here we are dealing with that. And these are these tricky nights to forecast, but we're trying our best here, and we have an amazing team here at Ohio News and Weather in Bell Park that have been tracking this. And again, I don't see anything immediately concerning, although there are some areas of some weak rotation, again, here in eastern Licking County, south of Hanover, just an hour ago we were tracking a tornado warning there, and then there's this very broad area of rotation that was just prompting that tornado warning in northern Muskingum County, that has since been allowed to expire. That was originally going to go until midnight. So it is a tricky area to forecast for. The radars are not close. The Weather Service radars are all of them. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Wilmington are almost 90 miles away. The only really good look we get in this part of the state is out of the Columbus terminal Doppler, which is out in Pataskala, but even then we're getting a little far from that. So, all right, well, this latest scan, we do still see some rotation there. There's rotation, but it whether or not it's hitting the ground is or touching the ground, I should say, is really debatable. What I'm doing right now, if I'm not looking right at you, I'm actually looking at my phone. This is the Radar Scope app, which meteorologists like to use for a good mobile, high definition look at storms. And yeah, we're not seeing a whole lot. We're getting pretty far from the radar. We're almost 40 miles away from the Columbus radar at that point. And we're getting a look at about the lowest 1,000 feet of the atmosphere, which is good. The only issue is, is it accurate? So, all right, well, you know what? I think this is worth watching, so we'll stick with it for a while. I know we probably have a lot of questions about certain specific towns. It's tough to cover everybody, especially when you have widespread storms, not necessarily severe storms per se, but just widespread storms in general occurring. So we have no active tornado warnings right now. We have no active severe weather warnings at all, to be honest. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn back on the Wilmington radar so we can kind of get a broad look at what's going on here. So we still have another lightning producing storm here in Licking County. I don't really see a lot of rotation. We've got a lot of lightning producing storms from Lancaster to Chillicothe. Hillsborough, you're drying out but probably still seeing some lightning. And then stretching all the way down into Brown and Adams County there. To the north, not much. It's been a pretty quiet evening for our northern communities. We do have a heavy downpour, maybe some lightning near Brunswick and Strongsville, Columbia Station, up where Medina, Lorain, and Cuyahoga County come together. And then over Millersburg as well. And again, none of these are severe. Really, what we were concerned about was this one storm in northern Muskingum County that did have a history of rotation, and yeah, this latest scan shows it kind of weakening a little bit. So, all right, good news there. I will probably pop off here, but if we do need to come back live again, we will. If we do get another tornado warning tonight. So, with Bell Park Weather Network and all of our forecasters and meteorologists here at Ohio News and Weather, I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce. Thanks for joining me again for a brief stream. And we're just going to kind of keep an eye on things as we go throughout the night. Have a wonderful night and get some sleep.